Okay, so if you recently seen my review of the Gigabyte GTX 660 Ti and its performance in 2020, what would happen if I put two of these graphics cards together in SLI mode? Well, if you want to find out, stay tuned. But before that, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe down below, and thank you for watching. Now, before we get into nitty gritty, please don't forget to hit the like button down below. It really helps out to grow the channel, and I really appreciate it. So as you could see, we're using two identical Gigabyte GTX 660 Ti's. They're 2 gigabytes each in VRAM. We're going to run them in SLI. And we're going to find out if we could at least run a handful of games on 1080p or maybe higher resolution in 2020. Now, I don't know if that's possible, but you never know. Now, also, I would recommend, as you could see, I have the HB SLI bridge right there, because this card does have two tooths for the SLI, and anytime you have that option available, even for the older cards, I do recommend using an SLI bridge like that. You really do get a little bit more performance, probably like 10 to 15% overall. And if you have a good motherboard and set up all the settings correctly, maybe even be able to overclock some of these cards. And of course, for something like this specifically here, you would probably need a good 750 watt power supply or higher, depending on the overall build that you have. And you know, if you're going to run things in SLI, don't cheap out on the power supply, because that's going to be one of your biggest keys. If you're just running a bare minimum, you may not get enough power to get the true performance in SLI. Now, times are tough, as I'm sure you already know, and sometimes you got to go to drastic measures just to get that high FPS, at least on some of the games. So without further ado, let's get right to it and see how well these two old graphic cards perform together. So stay tuned. Okay, so the first game here we have is Battlefield 5, and this is a perfect example of how well SLI really works. This is definitely one of the better games, and as a matter of fact, all Battlefields support SLI, except really this one, and this one needed to be used with the Nvidia Inspector. It's very easy profile. Actually, I have in my channel a video that I did probably 2 years ago, and this one did need a little workaround with the Nvidia Inspector profile, but once that gets going, this thing works flawlessly, perfectly. Compared to some of the other games that I used the Nvidia Inspector, the performance is there, but it's glitchy, and that's very unfortunate. But like I said, this is definitely a good example how I'm using these 8-year-old graphics cards, and I'm able to play this game on all the settings on 1080p from low to ultra with really good FPS, and that's what I'm going to show you. You know, of course, I understand the developers, they don't want you know, develop new games with the SLI capability, because everybody will be rocking these old graphics cards, and there'll be no need to spend more money on newer hardware, and you know, the PC business is not gonna be doing too good. So unfortunately, it is what it is. But in my experience, every game does support SLI or needs Nvidia Inspector profile. Once you get that going with a good motherboard, you want to be always, when it comes to SLI, you want to be utilizing both cards at least at X8 mode, which most good motherboards will allow you to do that. You know, definitely a good power supply and a good processor along with that, and you really could squeeze out some juice. So that's what I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you a couple of games, some of the newer ones and some of the older ones that you may already aware that the SLI supports, to really show you that in 2020 SLI still kicks butt, no matter what they tell you. And also stay tuned for other videos to come after this, which I will do individual videos for other games that do support SLI. I'm just trying to basically go all out and test out every single game that does support SLI with these graphics cards. So stay tuned for that. So let's take a look at the options. I will start off with 1080p. Let me show you here. 1080p, and I'm going to go on the lowest settings for now and then go up to ultra, just to show you that this setup could still run this game at around 100 FPS average, which is fantastic. And then I go up to Ultra. And let's just do ultra settings to finish up with this game, and then I'll go on to the next game. As you can see, still quite playable, definitely enough FPS here. Alright, so here you have it, Battlefield 5. Let me see what else I could find. Stay tuned. Now here's another great example of SLI working really well, Resident Evil 3 Remake. Now this game does require Nvidia Inspector Profile, and I made a video about that about a couple of months ago. I was the first one to discover that, and it'll work for any SLI setup, and you get really good performance. So we're on 1080p here, and let me show you the settings. Normal rendering, DirectX 11 you have to use in order for that profile to work, and you know, we're like on a mixture of high and normal and low settings, which is not bad at all. The visuals still look good and plenty of performance. Well, there you have it. On to the next one. The good old Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Now this one does support it natively. You just have to select DirectX 12 and the SLI will work with any Nvidia pair of graphics card. Of course, they would have to be the same exact. So let me show you the settings. We're on 1080p and on high settings, on the high preset. And definitely getting good visuals and good FPS, and that's what you want.
Operation Blackhead has been initiated. None of the local workers leave the site alive. Ah, fuck. We've planned for this. Make sure the perimeter's secure. What do you think is in there?
I don't know, but I hear the readings are off the charts.
Let's just make sure the perimeter is secure when Commander Rourke gets here.
We'll be ready.
Inspectors are coming. Be ready.
Fuck. Nah, don't worry, I'll fix it.
Your privileges have been revoked. Operation Blackout is complete. No witnesses. The site is secure.
Have to be quick.
All right, let's dispose of the bodies. You, monitor the police van. Let's go with a gunshot. Hey. Let's finish this.
And the last game I'm going to test out for this video is Far Cry New Dawn. Now this game does support SLI off the bat. And here are the results. We're on 1080p full screen, and for the best settings I choose the high settings to give an overall graphics and performance just the right frame rates, and the game is very enjoyable, and I'm sure you're aware how hard this game is to run. So to achieve these frame rates with these two old cards is, in my opinion, I think is pretty impressive. So the video is winding down. Let me know what you guys think. Please subscribe to my channel. Check out my videos. I got tons of videos. If you want the best FPS benchmarks, then you come to the right channel. Leave any comments down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what kind of success or non-successful stories you have with SLI. I'd really like to know. So enjoy the rest of this video, and I'll see you next time.